I was recently interviewed on my friend Amy Wine's podcast, and the conversation took a turn to talk about some of my life lessons that I've learned in my over 10 years of being a work from home entrepreneur. I shared how detrimental it was when I worked far too many hours and focused far too much on my business in those early days. I want to share with you one of the lessons I learned about just why rebuilding connection and thinking, oh, it's just for a season, just isn't enough. So stay tuned for this highlight episode.
Where we think it's just a season. I'm just busy for this season. So I'm going to neglect my marriage. I'm going to neglect this or that. And I'm just going to push it. But then what happens, that season doesn't end or it lasts a
Right.
lot longer than we thought. And then we wake up and we're like, wait, what happened? Why is everybody upset? Because I told you for this season, but you can't do one without working on the other. Now, it doesn't have to be in perfect balance because I don't believe in that. But I do
hmm
believe you have to have some type of rhythm in your life and your relationships and your business to thrive. Like you have to.
Yeah. And I think in my case, there would be seasons that just stacked onto seasons. But I think more than anything, the damage done in that season, the disconnection that happens, the neglect that happens takes so much effort and time to repair that
Mhm.
if you just go back to trying to maintain a marriage or maintain a relationship with your kids, you can't because the foundation that you had before that season of neglect and abandonment in a way is crumbled. So you're trying to maintain your business that you've just worked hard to build while rebuilding a foundation so that you can have reconnection with the people that you love. And for me, like, I think it's just like business. It's a lot easier to keep a customer than it is to get a new one. Well, it's a lot easier to maintain connection than it is to rebuild it from the ground up because you keep destroying it.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. That's a fan. You need to quote that everywhere.
Put it everywhere.
Quote that everywhere. It's true. And when you're thinking about building communities for our business, I think we don't often think about, and I love it switched here. We don't think about building the community in our home, right? Because it's taken for granted or we're irritated with them or we're this. We don't strategize how to build that community in our home. And we really need to faster than any of them.
Yeah, I think my husband and I have talked about what is our family culture, right?
Yeah.
And what is our family purpose and leveraging the strategy that we use for building communities with businesses in our home. Because I think it's something that when it happens every day and it's in front of you all the time, it's the first thing to get neglected. Because in the back of our mind, we say, well, they'll always be there. They'll always love me. They're always going to support me until they don't. And we don't realize that we've neglected them all this time. And I think, unfortunately, when we have young moms, and oftentimes young moms are the ones who are pulled into entrepreneurship because it's like, oh, you're away from your kids all the time as a teacher. Like, hey, start an entrepreneurial career and come home and you'll get all this time with your kids. And so they get lured into this idea of like not just being a stay at home mom or not working that job that makes them drop their kids at daycare, and then what they don't realize is they end up getting sucked into 60, 80-hour a week something,
Yeah.
and the exact opposite of what they wanted is happening. I just keep thinking, like, for me, our kids are only young for so long. Then you have many, many, many years to build after that. And also, I've stopped comparing my business success to so many people because if you look at so many of the business people who are very, very successful, who I very much love and admire and I think are absolutely wonderful, they don't have children, or they have one child, or their children are significantly older. They're out of the home already. It's not very often that you see a successful businesswoman, extremely successful businesswoman who has multiple young children
Yep.
at home. You
Yeah.
just don't see it. But yet we're being coached by people who don't have that additional commitment. And it's not just an extra thing, it is the thing. It is
Yeah.
the thing that we are called to. When we have children, we have now signed up to say, priority number one, God, priority number two, husband, priority number three, like discipling these children right here.
Right.
That's my priority. But when somebody else, their top three priorities aren't the same as yours, it's very challenging to be coached and led by them and try and model what they're doing.